Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, October 13th, 2017. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. The opposition New Democratic Party continues to express concern with the currency exchange issue facing local traffickers who sell agricultural produce to Trinidad and Tobago. On the radio today, leader of the opposition, Dr. Godwin Friday, explained that farmers have crops which traffickers or traders are willing to purchase. However, the problem comes when the traffickers get Trinidad currency. When they arrive here, they are expecting to get the equivalent Eastern Caribbean dollars of what they sold the produce for. However, this continues to be a sticking point. Dr. Friday said that the issue has not only become a critical one for the government to deal with, but also at a CARICOM level.
And they're having difficulty because the trader, the trafficker as they call them, taking the goods to Trinidad and is not able to return here with hard currency that he can exchange or can give to the farmers. And so you have a problem where you have a willing buyer, you have good market in Trinidad, sellers and produce here, and you can't trade because of the currency problem. And this is something that is really, in this day and age, for a CARICOM environment where we are supposed to be able to facilitate trade amongst the countries of the region, it boggles my mind that it's in this day and age that we have this problem that has arisen. But what also is mystifying to me and disappointing is the seeming lack of interest on the part of the government in resolving the matter. I mean, this is, to me, is an urgent issue.
The opposition leader said it is essential that farmers and other local entrepreneurs are able to support themselves and not depend on handouts. He said that handouts are killing the economy.
Where people who are in government offices, they believe they have all the answers. And not only that, they own everything. That the people have to basically be subjected to them, and if they can't control what you're doing, nothing gets done. That kills initiative. It kills the country. And that is something that has brought us to the point where we are now, where everything is moving at snail's pace or dead stop. And the economy in this country is at a dead stop. And all the people are getting our hands out. And I heard that Ken say that the tourist season may be looking a little better because of the weather damage that was done to some of the other destinations, that we may benefit from that here. But we have to prepare ourselves to be able to take advantage of it. It's not just in the cruise ships, the yachts and so on. Mm-hmm. Quite a lot of them there. Next year, some of the stayover visitors may change their destination and decide to come here. We have to be prepared in order to take advantage of it. It's not just going to just fall in our lap.
The importance of being able to supply consistently for the agriculture market is being emphasized by Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce, Tony Regisford, on NBC Radio Views and Issues program recently discussing the issue of agriculture. Regisford, who was a panelist, said farmers need help with how they coordinate what they produce, especially for the export market.
I think it's a question of organization. Can the supermarkets consistently get products when they want it? Is it reliable? So who sets up that mechanism? I think this is where government has to take the responsibility. This is where the Ministry of Agriculture has to take the responsibility, or whoever, right? Where farmers are organized into cooperatives, and we've got central buying depots which will grade and package and standard. That level of organization is required. Otherwise, the thing is just ad hoc.
The Chamber of Commerce Executive Director also emphasized the importance of packaging and marketing local products to meet international standards.
Recently, I was in a health food store in the UK, and I looked at what was on the shelves, and there's nothing that we can't produce here, but the packaging and so on is fantastic. Right, and so when we're thinking about agro-processing, I think we need to move a little beyond the pepper sauce and the green seasoning in that standard bottle that comes out of Trinidad, and everybody's product looks the same. It's tired. It's a tired product, pepper sauce and green seasoning. And I make no apologies for saying that. When you see what people are consuming outside and what we can produce.
Taxi operators as well as tour operators here are being encouraged to get registered with the SVG Tourism Authority as well as have their vehicles inspected to benefit from the expected increase in cruise arrivals. The encouragement comes from Quality Assurance Manager at the SVG Tourism Authority, Natalie James Schott. As she spoke with SVG-TV News, Schott expressed disappointment in the turnout of taxi operators for inspection this week and expressed hope that more will come on board by next week.
However, as of yesterday, the 12th, we had less than 90 persons, so that was quite disappointing that the figure wasn't a bit higher. However, we've been sending the message out of the importance for those who have not yet inspected their vehicles to come and get it done as soon as possible. We're also encouraging all those taxi operators who are out there who have not yet registered to be trained and licensed to do so at their earliest convenience. So hoping that next week, the week of the 16th of October, that the majority of the taxi operators that's outstanding, as well as the tour buses, very important, those persons who wish to work with the cruise companies, the tour companies especially, during the cruise season must get their vehicles inspected out at the E.T. Joshua Airport next week, the 16th of October, and we complete on the Friday, the 20th of October. So very important. We are hoping that those persons will come out next week and get their vehicles inspected, which will enable them to be licensed.
According to Schott, it is important that taxi operators get inspected and register to benefit from an expected increase in cruise ship arrivals.
One of the things that we don't like see happen is on the day that we really have a big cruise ship, that those persons who did not take the opportunity to come and register and be licensed would be seen outside the cruise ship terminal arguing with others that, you know, that they deserve to be with them, you know, the same way when, you know, the message has been out there for the past 3-4 years that all taxis must be licensed and registered in order to operate, to work with the tow companies whenever we have cruise ships in our harbor. So that's one of the things that I'd like to get out there to those persons who have not yet registered, that if they wish to do that. And of course this year we've been informed that our cruise calls have doubled, if not tripled. So we're going to have more calls.
The SVG Tourism Authority Quality Assurance Manager also gave an overview of what the inspection of taxi and tour buses entails.
Officer Pope from the police garage, who have been assisting us for the past couple of years, and he's along with us again this year to check the vehicles. We check to make sure that all their lights are working, their horn, their AC, the tires are in good condition, that they have a viable and workable fire extinguisher, that the first aid kit is also fully stocked, that the seats of the vehicle is in very good order, the interior of the vehicle also is in good order, and the brakes, Mr. Pope diligently checks that the brakes is sharp and in good order. So those are some of the things that we check for, and of course if they have broken lights, we would advise those persons to get those fixed as soon as possible. But those are just some of the things that we check for when the vehicles come to be inspected.
Persons here who require a form of private transportation with associated assistance outside of what is provided through a taxi or other public transport can now have access to the use of the island-wide Medical Transportation Service, Inc. Outlining the importance of non-emergency medical transportation, Dr. Tawana Brown Caesar said the opening of the IMTS marks a milestone in the provision of medical services here in SVG.
With improved medical knowledge, patients now have more devices for a variety of medical and non-medical reasons. Also, with the increase in non-communicable diseases, not only in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but worldwide, we now have increasing persons with limited mobility. Vehicles equipped not only to accommodate wheelchairs and stretchers, but also personnel comfortable in safely, and I say safely because you could have personnel operating equipment that they're not necessarily competent to operate, and comfortable in safely operating these devices, as well as personnel who are trained in basic life support or cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Basically what to do if you run into problems. The capacity of these services to carry medical equipment is a plus.
With a mission to provide safe, reliable, affordable, and timely assistant non-emergency transportation to persons who are unable to provide or secure transportation independently, CEO of the company, Andre Bailey, said he has studied the business for the past 3 years and is proud to be a part of this at this stage.
Service is geared to everyone, including the elderly, disabled, anyone who is mobility challenged, or for kids with special needs, or for anyone who just need a ride to go to a doctor appointment. You don't have to be in a wheelchair. You don't have to be on a cane. You don't have to be mobility challenged. You could just need a ride. One day wake up and you need a ride to go to your medical facility. We are the service that you want to call. As we launch today, we're only going to have primary service in 3 district areas, which are the Maracay District Clinics, Calicut District, and the Kingston District. So anyone need transportation between those districts will be immediately available. The other areas such as Cedar District Clinics, Cedar District, Georgetown District, Pembroke District will be getting service within the next few months. Currently we have 1 van available. We should expect another one within the next 2 weeks.
Congratulating the management and staff of the newly opened business, Minister of Health Luke Brown said the service provided through IMTS will complement the efficient provision of medical assistance here in SVG.
It's fitted and proper that a citizen who is involved in the business of the private sector saw an important need, understood that this was a barrier to the access of healthcare services, and in his own way, through his company, sought to do something about that. And we were happy, and from the level of the ministry and from the standpoint of the government as well, to have played a role in helping with the startup of this venture by granting concessions for the importation of these vehicles. We did it because we recognize that it is a part and parcel of what we are trying to achieve with public policy. And concessions of up to 50% on these 4 vehicles that would come over the next 6 months, I think would help to get this business up and running, and this business would therefore deliver benefits to Vincentians that are critical.
President of the SVG Medical Association has expressed elation at the support of the general public for its annual Pink Cap City Walk, which took place today. The walk, which began and ended at Heritage Square, saw many persons adorned in pink marching through the streets of capital Kingstown. The objective of the event is to bring awareness to breast cancer. Speaking with SVG-TV News, President of the SVG Medical Association, Dr. Rosalind Ambrose, said this year there's been a greater participation from the public.
And we're here today as to take part in the Pink Cap City Walk, which is a signature event of the Medical Association in raising awareness about breast cancer. I think this year we've had a much larger crowd than we've had over the years, and we are very pleased at seeing the support that the general public has been giving and our corporate and organizational partners in their undertaking of raising awareness of breast cancer. We also have added to our program prostate awareness, and so we are helping to bring attention to the issue of prostate cancer as well as breast cancer. So that's the aim of this exercise, the Pink Cap City Walk.
Dr. Ambrose also took the opportunity to encourage persons to have the relevant checks to facilitate early detection for cancer.
Yeah, part of the Medical Association's thrust is to encourage women who are particularly over 40 and have not yet done so, that they should come forward and have a mammogram. They should practice how to do their breast self-examination. And for the men, we want to encourage men over 40 as well to go to their doctors, have the rectal examination done to check their prostate size, and have the PSA, which is a straightforward blood test that can be done to see if the prostate gland is overacting or not, because this is a big signal for the presence of prostate cancer. And so we would like to encourage all our men over 40, take this step because it is very important. We are losing too many males in the good years of their life because of prostate carcinoma. That's prostate cancer.
Today, October 13, 2017, is observed as the International Day for Disaster Reduction to highlight how persons and communities worldwide are reducing their exposure to disasters, as well as raise awareness about the risk factors. Earlier today, the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, in collaboration with the Goodwill Fisherman Corp Society Limited and the Rose Place community, hosts an exhibition in commemoration of the day. In an interview with SVG-TV News, Director of NEMO, Michelle Forbes, said the day's activities are focused on the Sandy 7 campaign, which is centered on the 7 targets of the Sandy framework. This year's focus is Target B, reducing the number of affected people by disasters by 2030.
2015, the UNISDR, which is the United Nations International Strategy for Disaster Risk Reduction, which is an arm of the UN, would have had the meeting in Japan, in Sendai, Japan, and then out of that, the next 7 targets for how countries can work towards reducing the impact of hazards or disasters on the country and hence building resilience. We have long embrace what we call a comprehensive disaster management strategy, which means we are looking at all hazards, not just natural hazards such as hurricanes, but other hazards that can impact our country. We're always working with different communities, different organizations in getting the message of not just the International Day, but about hazards and how we as a people and community can actually reduce our risk and build our resilience.
Forbes gave a brief overview of what was on showcase today at the exhibition.
How you can prepare your family. You're looking at your family, individual family, in managing a hazard or threat that can affect you in the home. And we also have information on the community, how the community can go about preparing themselves for hazard impact. So it's really giving the knowledge, giving information so you can actually have that knowledge of how you can actually go about preparing yourself for a particular hazard or threat.
Noting that her organization has been involved in the IDDR celebrations for over 10 years now, Forbes added that the decision to host this year's event in the Rose Place community comes with the work being carried out in that area to sensitize persons about disaster risk management and preparedness, as that area is prone to coastal hazards.
We have been working with that community over the last year and a half in increasing their knowledge on tsunami hazards and coastal hazards in that community. In the next 2 months or so, we will be finalizing a community disaster plan for tsunamis in that community, installing tsunami evacuation signs to show where to go in the event of you have a tsunami in that community. During the summer, we also had a summer program for the youth in Rose Place, a very successful summer program to increase their knowledge and inform them about how they as children can work within the community and along with their peers and their parents in having more knowledge about hazards. And having the knowledge about hazards now allow persons to have an informed decision of how they can actually work towards reducing their risk and reducing their exposure to disasters, hence feeding into the Target B of the Sendai framework.
World Mental Health Day was celebrated globally on Tuesday, October 10th. Locally, the administration of the Mental Health Rehabilitation Center this week holds a series of activities to commemorate the occasion. as it continues to sensitize the Vincentian public on mental health issues as well as provide efficient mental health care. The center is pushing its rehabilitation efforts and it is urging the entire Vincentian community to get on board. Nikita Tony tells us more in this report.
Reiterating its commitment to raising awareness on mental health issues and mobilizing efforts in support of persons suffering with mental health, the administration of the Mental Health Rehabilitation Center, MHRC, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, will tomorrow, Saturday, October 14th, wrap up a week of activities in commemoration of World Mental Health Day, which was celebrated on Tuesday, October 10th. The week of activities focused on building awareness on mental health, as well as eradicating stigma displayed towards mental health and persons with mental health illnesses by the society. Departmental Manager at the MHRC, Sister Karen Gilges, said the center, while pushing its efforts to provide efficient mental health care, is also focused on getting patients rehabilitated so that they can re-enter society.
That the society will have to accept, the family will have to accept. There is a role to play by everyone, society and ourselves. So that's why we have the social worker, the counselors, and we have ourselves working together. Going into the fields also to assist persons who would have gone home to help them to maintain that degree of mental stability so they can stay out there and be integrated into their community.
Admin control at the facility, Sister Elizabeth Medford, said that with the help of the general public, their aim of rehabilitating patients is indeed possible.
Once the patients get back out in the community and the community knows how to walk along with that patient continue on the medication, they can be very functional. As there are little triggers and little stresses in the community that we have to work on so that it would be easier for them to fit in after leaving the institution. There's a lot of work to be done, but I'm sure that we can do it together as a team.
Sister Medford further pointed out that the MHRC will continue its education efforts to get the public more involved.
Sensitize the public, educate the public on mental health issues so that when patients are ready to go home, we'll have a smooth transition from mental health into the community and where we can sustain them and maintain their mental health out there. Whether it be by adding a newspaper or maybe a television presentation, but we'll try to get as much information out there as possible. We're going to have hotlines that people can call in. We're going to have our telephone numbers more available to the public in case you have questions, you need answers. We're going to open that up to the public.
The overarching aim of the Mental Health Rehabilitation Center is to integrate mental health back into primary health care. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
The Committee for the Celebration of the 50th Anniversary of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, in conjunction with the SVG Bar Association, will be hosting tomorrow a first in a series of activities aimed at raising public awareness on issues of gender-based violence, domestic violence, and sexual abuse. The campaign, named No Means No, begins with a panel discussion on domestic violence, the rights of the victims, and the measures in place to protect such rights. Panelists would include professionals from the legal fraternity, the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, the Ministry of Gender and Family Affairs, and churches. The overall objective of the campaign is to educate, empower, and enable communities to identify cases of gender-based violence, domestic violence, and sexual abuse, with the view to eradicating them altogether by addressing their roots and structural causes. Tomorrow's discussion will take place at the Barley Learning Resource Center at 5 p.m. The month of November is locally celebrated as Drama Month, and for this year, every effort is being made for the National Theatre Arts Festival to be quite the experience for all patrons. Speaking at the official launch of the BOSVG National Theatre Arts Festival on Wednesday, Chief Cultural Officer Anthony Tibbles highlighted some of the major achievements of the festival throughout its 11 years of existence. Anthony Tibbles said it is through the continued support of its major sponsor, the Bank of St. Vincent, that the festival has been able to bloom and succeed.
The faces have changed here at the bank, but the consistency of the support, the interest in ensuring the festival continues to exist at its very highest level. And so we thank the bank very much. Over the 10 or so years, when you look at the number of seats at Peace Memorial Hall, we have entertained about 6,000 people in the years of the existence of the festival. And that too is another remarkable achievement in the scheme of things. And again, this is possible because the bank has stayed with us. And promise that the Department of Culture will continue to work ardently with the various organizations to continue supporting the development of drama. And we will do what it is possible to do.
Tibbles said over the years, some 50+ original scripts have been presented to the Vincentian public.
You see, we see the actors on the stage and we think of the play, but we do not think of the writing that has gone into the production of that play. It is one of the unfortunate elements of the situation that not many of the plays are published. But as we move things along, that too will happen. I know that some of the scripts have been published and they are with the library service and available through them. I know that one of the groups that has graduated, the Methodist Agape Dramatists, are hoping to publish several of the plays that they have done over the years in the festival.